See, the sea is now our blood. All our parents belong to us, all our grandparents and all our families are all in the lifeboats and they're all fishermen. The same as Peter's family. Because you could take all the preparation you could take, but one little mistake and you were gone anyway. One little blunder and you're gone.
I wouldn't encourage anybody to do it, especially after being in the Coast Guard for nearly 40 years. You know, you're always telling people what not to do, and that would be exactly what we did, is what not to do. Not to let anybody know, not wearing life jackets, not even having them in the boat with us. We were lucky, extremely lucky to survive. The whole idea was a challenge. Wales is out there like. Well, it was the 16th of August 1960, and we'd been out in this canoe several times before, the three of us, just for a bit of a trip, you know. Seamus was the most courageous for saving the three of us, Seamus Organ. That's the chap, he died tragically there a few years ago. And he said, why don't we go to Wales tonight? Well, we talked about doing it before, but we never actually got around to doing it.
So the canoe was only a timber canoe. And she was only made to say 16 foot long, and she was made for 2 people seeing, and 3 people got into it.
Didn't tell anybody, you see, we were going, so that nobody could stop us. It was all an adventure at that stage. It was a lovely, clear night. Every star in the sky was shining. Looking back at the lights in Cortown, paddling away, little compass in our hand, heading for a light on the far side, which turned out to be Strumble Head.
And the next morning, when the daylight came in the next morning, we looked back and Harry Hill was still right behind us. So we thought we had gone all in, but we were gone a long ways at that time. Then the sun started to shine up then, and then the water started to glitter. I was doing something to your head that was blinding you. And you were seeing youngsters wasn't there was flashes of light coming up to you. But the sun was so strong, and the upper the water was into your eyes. You didn't know where you were at times. Only we had the little compass. I'd say we'd have never found it.
During the day, it was quite, it was very calm. The sea was like a mill pond, and the reflection of the sun on the sea was like a mirror. And with lack of sleep and things like that, you were paddling and instinctively nearly at this stage, you're kind of half asleep, and something could be in your mind. And at one stage, I remember saying to Peter and Seamus, saying, mind the wall, I said to him. I thought we were running into a wall, but this was just lack of sleep was doing this.
The sun was shining strong, no wind, and pure calmness. I was like you were going to the Bermuda Triangle, so calm. You ever see the picture going to the Bermuda and the calm out, and then the gale of wind blows up? That's the way it was, so calm.
By midday we were well in sight of Wales, and the weather was just gorgeous, beautiful. Except we were getting a bit tired. The Arthur lifeboat then was out as well looking for us. The Arthur lifeboat came within, I think it was 30 miles of Strumble Head in her search, which she couldn't have been far away from us at one stage, but it's impossible to see a canoe that's painted white in the sea. If it was painted orange, you might pick it up all right. But a white object like that, and everything shining like a mirror, impossible. Same with the planes overhead, they couldn't see it either. That evening about 6 o'clock, we should have been in. We were only about half a mile off the land, and we didn't know where we were basically. There was some very strong currents and tides, and unfortunately we were getting nowhere. So we spent 6 hours in the one spot. We used to get in a bit closer, and next thing you know, we were going back out as fast as we came in. We couldn't make the land, and at this stage, of course, we were tired, very tired, after being paddling for 24 hours now nearly. And then the tide turned, like for maybe an hour or less. You'd have a period of slack water, and at that stage we got in, just under the lighthouse in Strumble Head.
If we'd had waited a little bit longer, if we'd left it shorter, we'd arrived at the right time of the tide, they brought us in. But when we arrived there, the tide was still flowing. And we couldn't get against it. We just couldn't get against it. But it took us 24 hours to get there from one beach to another beach. And I'd say it was 80 miles or maybe 85 miles, the distance we went. Because we went up the coast and then went across. So I'd say about 85 miles paddling. It was a lot of paddling. I'm telling you, that was a lot of paddling. Mm.
Three relieved chaps, I tell you what, we got ashore there. But the ordeal wasn't even over at that, because we got out of the canoe, then we weren't able to walk, you see. Because, I mean, in a cramped position like that for 24 hours, like, you lost feeling in your legs. Where we landed on the Strumble Head, there's nothing, only cliffs. That part of it was scary as well, you know, when we look back on it. We could have been killed. If we could have fallen down the cliff where we were climbing up and been killed. Nothing below, only rocks. That'd have been terrible altogether. One thing, being drowned would have been okay, but to go and do something like that and then get killed when you get ashore, I couldn't have that. Saw a light way up in the field, so we headed across these fields and some gorse bushes and stuff like that. And the light happened to be the Coast Guard lookout bus, which wasn't manned on a full-time basis, but it was manned when they were looking for anybody. So we arrived in the back door while the man was peering out the front window looking to see where we were.
When the Coast Guard man got a bit of a land all right now, he did. Well, I wouldn't blame him either. A man looking for us the whole for the last 24 hours, and we come in the back door to him. It would be a disappointment on a Coast Guard man. But he'd over here and he phoned up to, I'd say, I don't know where, he phoned up somewhere to get help for us. And I could hear him saying, he says, you know, he said that they're coming in the back door. And he said, if I'd have found me, he said, I got another stripe. I could hear him saying that.
The papers and all the evening before was we were missing and presumed drowned. Because, I mean, you don't go across the Irish Sea in a small canoe and expect to do it without something happening.
And the next morning, I remember going up the town, and we walked up on photographs on these. Notice the boards outside of a shop and showing the bits of newspapers, and there was our photographs on the great big board going up the street. We walked across the other side of the street. They were made of Freedom of Fish Garden at the same time. So it was a good experience for three young lads.
We had a great time. The Lord Mayor, we had to go up and see him. He invited us up for lunch the next day. I was in the English papers.
That's what everyone said. Why did we do it? I was there to be done. That's why we done it. So if we didn't try everything, no one would ever break any records. It's a record there now that hasn't been broken now for 45 years. So it's a good record to keep. Mm-hmm.
I can't see anybody trying it. It's just one of these things.